Hello everyone, welcome to today's Halloween review. Today we'll be checking out The Kiss of the Vampire, a classic Hammer film starring Christopher Evans and Edward de Souza. You know you're going to be in a treat when someone uses the phrase Hammer film and they're talking horror. So let's sit back and enjoy the synopsis and review of this classic film. The movie opens with the funeral of a young woman in a small town in Europe. The funeral seems to be going as normal until Professor Zimmer comes to the funeral and takes a shovel and impales the coffin with it. Blood pools from the coffin and everyone screams and runs away. The camera zooms in to reveal that the woman was a vampire. After the credits, we see Gerald and Marianne Harcourt driving through Europe on their honeymoon when their car runs out of gas. Gerald goes for gas while Marianne waits for the car. Marianne gets spooked as the wind picks up and knocks down a tree branch near her. She begins to run off when Professor Zimmer finds her and tells her to go back to the car. Marianne finds Gerald, who has procured a horse to tow their car to a hotel. As the pair take their tea in their room, a letter from Dr. Ravna arrives inviting them to have dinner with him. They decide to go after Bruno, the man who runs the hotel with his wife Anna, tell them they should go. While Gerald, Marianne, Ravna, and his family dine, Tanya wanders out to the graveyard and digs at the freshly covered grave of the woman from the start of the movie and tries to pull out the shovel, but is stopped by Professor Zimmer. The pair struggle and she reveals herself to be a vampire and bites him on the hand. The visit ends with Ravna's son playing the piano for them and Marianne almost mesmerized by the performance. Dr. Ravna offers to send for gas for the couple's car, and after they leave, it is revealed that Ravna has plans for them. The next day, after breakfast, Marianne goes snooping and finds pictures of Bruno and Anna's daughter, who we find out is Tanya. Ravna's children come by to inform the couple about the gas delivery and to invite them to a party that Dr. Ravna is holding. When the couple arrives at the party, Gerald and Sabina greet them and give them masks. The party is to be a masquerade. Gerald opts to start with wine and Marianne wants to dance. Carl dances with Marianne and after a while swaps masks with the same one he gave Gerald and tricks Marianne into following him so that he can lock her in a room with Ravna. Ravna reveals himself to be a vampire and uses his hypnotic gaze to feed on Marianne. Sabina drugs Gerald with wine and the party comes to an abrupt end. Marianne is then brought before the guests in ritual garb and is introduced as the newest member. When Gerald wakes up, Carl and the doorman feign ignorance of Marianne's existence, starting to convince Gerald he was imagining being with Marianne at all. When he gets back to the hotel, Bruno also denies knowledge of Marianne, and Gerald looks around to find nothing of Marianne's belongings in the room. He tries to get the police to help, but they refuse because he has no evidence of Marianne's existence. So he goes to Professor Zimmer instead. The two sneak into Ravna's estate, and Gerald finds Tanya asleep there and asks her to lead him to Marianne. Tanya leads Gerald to Ravna, where he is captured. Ravna has Marianne brought to them and gives her the chance to prove her loyalty. Marianne spits in Gerald's face, then Ravna orders Tanya to turn Gerald into a vampire. Gerald wipes his blood into a cross, which frightens the vampires. Zimmer is suddenly in the right place to open the door so that Gerald can grab Marianne and escape. As Ravna's doorman chases them, Gerald somehow finds a loose stone pillar and is able to push it onto the doorman and kill him. Zimmer quickly draws a cross on Ravna's door with garlic, and they take Marianne back to the hotel. He sends for the police, then he and Gerald begin to perform a ritual to defeat Ravna. While Zimmer performs the ritual, Ravna uses his telepathy to have Marianne return to him. Gerald is able to stop Marianne from returning while Zimmer's ritual summons a horde of bats which feed on the vampires in Ravna's mansion and drains them of their blood. When Ravna dies, Marianne is freed from the curse and the bats leave. And thus ends the movie. I think it's fair to say that The Kiss of the Vampire is a fine example of Hammer horror. It has a good plot that slowly unravels itself and explains itself through visuals more than exposition. This is the best way for a story to be told in my opinion. The cinematography is good, the sound is excellent for its time, and the acting is spot on, if not a little cheesy in just a few spots. All in all, The Kiss of the Vampire is an excellent film and is one of the many that helped to bolster the reputation of Hammer films even to this day. That will wrap up today's Halloween review. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I hope you all have a great day, and as always, stay positive.